A cold and dreary rain. Just imagine kind of the worst blustery weather, except it's summer. That's what it was like in Northern Europe.
In 1816, Europeans were still recovering from the Napoleonic Wars and were once again reliant on agricultural resources spread too thin. The Arctic weather devastated the continent's crops. Multitudes began to starve.
The people who survive are much weakened because of the lack of food. And disease becomes widespread. There's a huge outbreak of typhus that hits Ireland, and 100,000 people die of typhus that's directly related to the year without a summer.
History of a quieter kind was being written at one of Europe's remote resorts.
The summer of 1816, Percy Bysshe Shelley, the Romantic poet, and his wife Mary Shelley, who was 19 years old, and their friend Lord Byron went to the shores of Lake Geneva to have their summer vacation. And normally they would go hiking and boating and having fun, but it was so cold and gloomy that summer that they couldn't go out and enjoy themselves. So they decided to have, they were writers, they decided to have a contest to see who could write the scariest ghost story to pass the time. And that summer, Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. If you look at Frankenstein, at the beginning of the book, the monster is climbing over the ice in the Arctic. And at the end of the book, the monster is also climbing over the ice. It's a very cold imagery. And she even writes at the beginning of the book how this imagery, this thinking about how cold and icy it was influenced by the climate outside the door when she was writing the book.
As Europe's frigid summer persisted, it continued to trigger famine and epidemics. The people could finally stand no more. In France, rioting mobs attacked grain carts on their way to market. In England, the starving lofted banners reading "Bread or Blood" as they looted and vandalized town after town. In Switzerland, desperate villagers seized Russian grain shipments at the border. The governments of Europe were not equipped to provide the food and relief the people demanded. Tens of thousands starved to death. Just as many fled Europe, hoping to rebuild their lives in America. Across the Atlantic, however, Tambora's chilling influence had descended with equal ferocity in the United States.